Hello everyone and welcome back to an all new episode of Wicked Q&A Wednesday with yours truly on my YouTube channel, All Things Taeler. I want to give a huge shout out to my 200 plus new followers on here. You guys are in for a wild and crazy ride. As you guys already know, we have so much fun exclusive content on this YouTube channel, from wrestling to pop culture, comic books, current events, tutorials, and just so much more. I'm super stoked. I love the Taeler Army community. So huge congrats. Thank you so much. And I would love to ask you all a huge favor. Please go ahead and like this video. It's going to help the algorithm to get more people engaging with the Taeler Army community on YouTube. Yeah! So super exciting. We have 2 questions from Twitter today and a bunch from YouTube. So let's get right down to them, as I am in full-on dog mom mode today. Just got back from a really awesome walk with some puppies. And I will talk more about that in an upcoming vlog. Okay. Oh, don't forget, guys, to make sure you comment below for the chance to get your question featured on next week's Q&A Wednesday. If you comment below, I am far more likely to see it. So may the odds be ever in your favor. Okay. First question what came from YouTube, and they were talking about last week reaction videos and how they thought I would be really good at those, because they said I have really funny and awesome comedic timing in my interviews and in my matches and so forth. So first off, I just want to say thank you. To me, that was a huge compliment, because a lot of people don't think I'm funny at all, but I think I'm hilarious. I'm like Reese Witherspoon in Legally Blonde. Like, what? Like, it's hard? Like, I laugh at my jokes all day long. I think I'm hilarious, but I guess, you know, it's just a certain sense of humor and acquired taste. So thank you. I would love to do reaction videos as soon as I figure it out. As you guys know, I am so not tech savvy. It is really sad and embarrassing with how long it took me to figure out all the equipment for my podcast on Russo's brand with Realm Network. Like, oh, Goldilocks, thank you so much for helping me out, girl. I can barely download, guys, but I would love to do that, because there are so many stories I would be able to share with you guys, like, in the moment. I'm a person that's very in the moment, so when things happen in matches, I'm very easily able to cover it up if things don't go according to plan and just be on the fly. It's very old school that way, but also too, I'm kind of very mindful of what's going on in the crowd as well. So if I know that something will be insulting if I try to cover it up, I don't like insulting my fans. Like, if they know something was wrong, I'm just gonna call it out right away and be like, yo, she done fucked up, you know. And that happened in California this one time, and this girl who I'm very good friends with messed up one of my signature moves, and the crowd just knew it was wrong, and so I just went, she done fucked up, and just the whole crowd's energy was so awesome. I think they appreciated me not trying to insult their intelligence by trying to act like it didn't get messed up. And I remember there was this one time where like in the no DQ match with Mandy Leon at Ring of Honor in Philly, and the crew that put together everything was told where to put everything, and they said that that's how they would do it. You know, they had special instructions from management on where to put everything, and they did the complete opposite. So I'm like walking all around the ring, finding all the stuff in random places because it wasn't put in the proper place and stuff, but I made it work. You know, just things like that I just think are hilarious. Like accidentally tripping over ring stairs and just making it way more comedic, because I'm like, well, it happened, I can't take it back, so use it to my advantage. So anyways, thank you so much for the compliment. I absolutely loved that. I'm not used to compliments, so that's really awesome. Another person on my YouTube channel asked me what I would do if Pile Driver came on. Would I kayfabe it and ignore it, or would I like do something and start singing along? I think for me, I would probably be like, all right, and I just keep walking. Very Matthew McConaughey, like, all right, all right, all right. I want to give a huge shout out to a diehard Taeler fan in the Taeler Army community. They messaged on YouTube saying their birthday was July 12th, and they didn't know if it would be acceptable to tweet at myself and some WWE superstars for a birthday shout out. So I hope you all will join me in wishing a huge happy belated birthday from July 12th to on YouTube, Senran X Anime. You know who you are. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, but you're awesome. If I could do, you know, a supernatural Dean Winchester, you're awesome. I would. Okay, another person asked me if I would ever want to be in Legends of the Hidden Temple. That is my childhood, guys. Love it. Love it so much. Bring it on. As a kid, I always wanted to do that. Purple monkeys, green iguanas, silver snakes, you know, whatever they are. That would be so epic. I'd be like, I've been training for this my whole life. It would be so awesome. All of that energy, I'm telling you. I love Legends of the Hidden Temple. That was so ahead of its time, guys. Like, seriously, that show was so awesome. Someone also on YouTube asked me, what, if any, Olympic sports, if I could, would I have loved to have participated in? When I was a kid, I was always really into figure skating, softball, track, and mixed martial arts and stuff. And I don't know if a lot of you guys know this, but I was actually a varsity athlete in high school, and I actually had a softball scholarship to a couple colleges as well, so that's kind of really cool, fun Taylor fact. I was a varsity athlete for track and field and for softball, and you guys already know that I am a black belt in Taekwondo, and over the last couple years I've been doing a lot of studying of boxing and MMA training. I always love to be learning something new. I'm very much information and knowledge oriented. I'm of the mind you should never be afraid to suck at something new. You know, we're not born, you know, crazy amazing at everything. You know, we have to learn new things, new skills, figure out who we are, and so forth and so on. So I always say you can't do epic shizit with basic people, so don't be afraid to suck at something new. That's, you know, the Taeler Hendrix vibe that I embody every single day of my life. So for me, I would have totally loved to have been on the US softball team. Having restrictive lung disease, I don't think I would want to be in the 100-meter track and field, because that was my race in high school. I don't think I would want to do that. I would definitely love to do, you know, the mixed martial arts and stuff like that. I loved getting to see a lot of Ronda Rousey's, stuff like that. That would be so awesome. I would love it. And oh my God, like the X Games, like snowboarding and stuff like that, that would be so awesome. I always wanted to do like X Games and like motocross. Like you guys know, I was a huge tomboy growing up, so that would be right up my alley. Okay, let's see. Let me see here. Someone asked me on YouTube, what would be a favorite match of mine and or toughest opponent, and why? I don't know what my favorite match is, because at a certain point in my career, I was so much of a perfectionist that I feel like it didn't really allow me to enjoy certain parts of my work. And then there was a lot of insecurity because I would always be getting just such negative onslaughts of criticism, both in the back and from fans. And then plus the environment of different shows and locker rooms is always different, and I'm a very sensitive person to energies and things like that. You know, there's just some locker rooms that you can walk into and you're just like, I am not welcome here, or I'm not in with the in crowd and I don't go where the in crowd goes, sort of, you know, thing. So I'm not really sure what my favorite match would be. I know I'm definitely proud of my Ring of Honor no DQ match. I put a lot of heart and soul into those promos leading up to that and into that match. I'm also really proud of my 4-way women's main event ladder match for the OVW Women's Championship title. I think I'm proud of that because of the storytelling. It wasn't just all these crazy moves. Like, I did a lot of little nuances that weren't called, that I just came up with on the fly to tell a story. And, you know, we were the first women to be the main event on OVW TV since, at that point, since OVW was a WWE developmental territory, where it was Beth Phoenix versus Katie Lee Burchill in a ladder match for the OVW women's title. So to me, that was a huge deal. I am very proud of winning the Queens of Combat Women's Championship and the inaugural Women's Tag Team Champions with Chelsea Green. There's a lot of things. I'm very proud that my first title that I ever won was the OVW Women's Championship title. There's been a lot of different things that I was really proud of. And my toughest opponent, I would have to say, is myself. The pro wrestling business is not an easy industry to be in, especially when you are a sensitive person and when you start in it so young and naive with rose-colored goggles on and you don't have any experience out in the world yet. You know, that's why I always say it's like the great and powerful Oz, and wrestling is like the Wizard of Oz. So yeah, that's how I think I would answer that question. Another person, they were on my Twitter, they asked me if there were any songs that, you know, I really truly identify with. There was a couple songs that immediately came to mind that I don't think people would necessarily associate with me, but for a lot of my life experiences, I really identify with these songs. I think the first one would definitely be Lonely by Justin Bieber. I can pretty much relate to every line in that song, which is sad and stuff, but it's also true, and you guys know I'm all about being real and genuine and authentic. That's why I always say be free with your authenticity. Is the most powerful thing that you as a person can do, besides being kind. I would also say Sorry Not Sorry by Demi Lovato. Payback by Slayer definitely came to mind. There's so much. I'm so musically inclined. I just love so much music. And I would say very indicative of my personality would be Make Your Own Kind of Music by Mama Cass Elliot. So there's like a very interesting mix of genres. But yeah, and Freak Like Me by Hailstorm, which you guys know was my entrance music for years. I'm a very, very interesting individual, I guess I would say. In a moment of self-reflection. Now, I hope you guys bear with me because this question specifically from Twitter is a little bit more in-depth, and so I don't want to take a crazy amount of time because I feel like this could be its own video, but I thought it was really a really interesting question that I think I personally had a lot I could say and speak on based from my own personal experiences and also the experiences of others in the business that I personally witnessed with my own eyes. So this person on my Twitter asked me about aesthetic in wrestling and whether or not I thought that it might be more or less important than talent and charisma, reputation, and so forth. First thing I want to say that a lot of people do not understand the concept of, and I wish they would. I didn't even understand this, and I think my career would have been a much different, so different if I would have understood this younger, but it's not really something that's ever taught in school. You know, there's so many things that we aren't taught in school that we desperately need to be taught at a young age to go out and be all that we can be, you know, to be the best versions of ourselves, the adults that we needed as a child, basically, when we go out into the world trying to go after our dreams. And that life lesson is there's a difference between character and reputation. And this is directly related to the question about aesthetic, in my opinion. And here's why. Character is who you truly are as a person. If you strip away all of the existential circumstances of your life, which means the house you live in or the car you drive, how much money is in your bank account, what labels you're wearing, who your parents are, so forth and so on, strip away all of that until it's just you as a person. That is who you are at your most basic foundation. That's your character. Okay, reputation is who everybody else says you are. Now, you could go on the street and tell people, just based off of looking at me, who do you think I am? Okay, if you ask 10 people, you're going to get 10 different answers. That's why there is a huge difference between character and reputation. There can be so many different motives behind who people say you are, and that's why a reputation is so different than your character. And I think that a lot of people in wrestling need to be less focused on their reputation and more focused on their character. A lot of people, and a really famous actress and author said this, and when I heard it, it was like a light bulb switched on, and it gave me so much power as an individual to understand the value in being free with your authenticity, which earlier in this video I said is one of the most powerful things that you can do as a person. Okay, she said something to the effect of, in creative industries, i.e. Hollywood, music, wrestling, art, whatever, so forth and so on, when people say you're difficult or hard to deal with, it often means you're more difficult to control and F over. So they're going to put out a different narrative of you that benefits what they need you to be in their story. And that's why I always say that you, and I just recently said this on my podcast, Talks with Taeler Hendrix, so that's why I think it's really all correlated, it's all related, it's all interwoven together in the intricacies of this industry. Say that 5 times fast. You have to understand that everybody in the world has a pencil to your life story. You should be the only person that has a pen. And so my battery is getting low here. So that's what it means. The difference between character and reputation. And a lot of people allow their work in wrestling to be affected by their reputation and how it makes them feel about themselves. I've been a victim of that. So many people have fallen prey to that instead of understanding that you need to just be confident and figure out who you are and then go after your dreams without sacrificing your values and integrity. And some dreams, they work out, just not in the same way you dreamed of them when you were a little child, because, you know, when you're a little kid, you don't know how the world works yet. You have rose-colored goggles on with zero life experience. So you have to go out there, be your best, try to improve every single day. You're going to have defeat. Failure is a necessary step on the ladder of success, and just keep pushing forward, not letting your circumstances define you. You define your circumstances in which you will go after your dreams. And that all leads back to aesthetic, talent, and charisma. Aesthetic is important to a certain extent because a lot of people won't pay to watch their neighbor wrestle. But a lot of people will pay to watch somebody like John Cena or Roman Reigns or Cody Rhodes or whoever it is wrestle. Why? Because they don't necessarily look like the person that lives next door to you. However, there is a role for a guy or girl next door look. Just like, you know, Captain Lou Albano, he doesn't look like Hulk Hogan for a reason. So I think that aesthetic is important to a certain extent because you need to look the role that you are playing. Would I look good in a Awesome Kong, Nia Jax, Tamina Snuka role? No, it does not make sense. It doesn't make sense, and I'm okay with that. I know my place. I know what my talents are and my weaknesses are. And that's what makes me powerful. That's what makes me work really hard for my seat at the table, because I know there's only one Taeler Hendrix. There's only one me that there ever can be. And I work darn hard to be me. So your question is very interesting. There's so many different levels and layers, like an onion. We can peel back so many different layers, and I will be happy to go into this more in depth. I think aesthetic is very important. But so is talent, but also how you use that talent. And charisma is something that can't be taught, and integrity is not something that can be bought. You either have it or you don't. Once you sell it, you can't go to Walmart and buy it back. You know what I'm saying? So aesthetic is very important to a certain extent. If you are supposed to be an all-American athlete, you should look like an all-American athlete. You know, if you are trying to be a certain type of superstar, you need to look the part. With that being said, though, you should not let how you look define how you feel about yourself. You know, that took me a very long time to learn. There are different body types for a reason, and there's different demographics for a reason. Charlotte Flair's demographic is not the same demographic as Shotzi Blackheart's. Okay, Sasha Banks's demographic is different from Natty Neidhart's demographic. And so I can say this confidently for a reason. When you represent the most demographics, you're going to maximize how much money is coming in. At the end of the day, wrestling is a business. You as a wrestler are a brand. You are a part of a bigger brand, but you solo are a brand. You need to learn how to market yourself and be more than just a person with a look or a wrestler that does moves. Because at the end of the day, the moves don't make the money. It's the story that you're telling with the moves that makes the money, that makes people like you watching this video want to go out and spend your hard-earned money that you work so darn hard for at your jobs, to spend that, to then drive however long it takes you to get to that event, spend more money in gas, probably in food, spend time in traffic on your way home after spending several hours at the venue, and then get up and go to your job again the next day. Moves don't do that for you guys. The moves that you use to tell the story does. There's a reason why certain people sell tickets and other people don't. They can be extremely talented, but maybe they just do not know how to use their talent. And also, it all goes back to as well the environment. Some people are so talented, but they just do not work well in a certain company because of the environment. You know, a sunflower doesn't grow in the Arctic for a reason. I say that all the time. It doesn't mean the company's bad. It just means it's not the best opportunity for that person. And we have to all learn as fans to be okay with that. So again, aesthetic is important, but how it's important varies person to person. So I hope that makes sense. You know, there's been so many times where I and so many others have been body shamed, and it's so unnecessary. But I do agree, there were times I looked more like a star than others, and there were times that I felt more beautiful than other times. You know, that's all part of growing into who you are and overcoming circumstances. So there is definitely importance in aesthetic, but at the same time, you also have the confidence in your talent and know what environment works best for you and the time that you have to be the best performer that you can be while you're blessed enough to do so. Okay, if you guys want more info on that, I would definitely not mind talking more in depth about that on another video, so definitely comment below and let me know. Let me see here. I am running out of time because my phone is going to die, so I have more questions here. I will get to them next week, including metal bands, my finisher, scary movies, Pokemon, and so much more. Thank you guys so much. Don't forget to like this video and comment below with your questions, and I'll add them to the pre-existing questions next week, and be on the lookout for a brand new Taeler Hendrix vlog. Talk soon.